take it. I mean, this is really, I mean, I give Billowy the advantage, but it's a slight one. I'm not saying like, oh, he's going to crush Zest here.
Of course. Well, here's Zest. Just to introduce this player, he was a GSL finalist, a Royal Rotor. I remember in the beginning, round one of Pro League, we were like, why do they keep sending out this guy? And then later on, we were like, oh, yeah, okay, we see, we understand now. He's got a great record, over 50%. I'd say that's about 60, 63 maybe. He's played so many PvPs, it's ridiculous. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, this guy has come out a lot of PvPs, come out consistently for KT, which is part of the reason why, because we saw so many PvPs last season. I believe Zest, compared to his other matchups, PvP, sometimes he's so confident that it's actually insane, but sometimes he's too confident, and that's his weakness. And that's where I want to give a little bit of an edge to Billowy here. Notice they actually both choose Hans Zimmer songs here, which is kind of funny. Hans Zimmer actually one of my favorite composers of all time, actually. I just found out he did the score for Interstellar as well, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
works very often with Christopher Nolan. I believe he worked on the Batman series as well.
Yeah, actually that's correct as well. Yeah.
Great composer.
Love Hans Zimmer, so these guys do as well. Pretty epic. Same composer.
I just love the fact that they pick epic songs for their songs. It's not like a joke song like Maru or like a cool rap song. It's like, no, I'm an epic guy. Look at me. I'm awesome.
Billowy giving a sigh here. I can see it on Billy's face. He's got something planned. He's got two plans. One's for vertical spawns, one's for cross spawns. Let's see what he's got planned here. The map is loaded. It's time for Zest versus Billowy PvP in this KT versus SKT match.
Down here in the bottom left, in the red, for KT Rollster, it is Zest.
Cross spawns, probably not what he wants. The top right, it's Billowy, former MVP player, now SKT. And that's something else I want to talk about, because during this downtime between Pro League seasons, between GSL seasons, and now, of course, with the SSL coming up before that, while players are preparing for these qualifiers, you always have to wonder, how well are these players doing? And for MVP, who's completely restructured their team, a player who's such a great sniper like Billowy seems like to be an invaluable asset for them. But even still, SKT was able to pull him away. They were able to convince him to join their team instead, and that probably took a lot because MVP would absolutely not want to give this guy away. And that says something in itself. Something is going on with this guy in-house. He's talking to the right people. You know, he's making the right plays in in-house games and also just custom practice games. He's playing with players in SKT, and they're saying, "Oh, we need this guy.
Yeah,
we need another Protoss right now. We lost Rain. We lost Parting." And I think this is a great pickup.
Just to add to what you're saying, like, we saw Dream come out, another new pickup, another player that hasn't shown so many results, that played amazingly, 3-0'd Solar in that matchup. Maybe Billowy taking a bit of that SKT coaching and could run away with it. Right off the bat, we do see a very fast skate from Billowy. Something to mention.
Something he's known for as well. That's what he did last time he played against Zest, just did a 3-gate attack and was able to win versus that proxy. And let's see what he decides to do with it this time. Could just be for a fast Mothership core. And, getting out an early sentry for holding an expand, which is also a good choice on this map.
Yeah.
Billowy also known for just playing really unique builds in even PvT, where he was one of the first players to do the Blink fake build really well. What has Zest got planned down there?
Ooh. Zest, we talked about this many times before. He likes to get just a little bit too flashy when he's playing against players that he may see himself favored against. And right now, he's not going for a crazy proxy, but it is out of base, and he's trying to do something tricky here.
Well, he's losing a lot of mine time on that probe. Just want to mention this. I mean, that's a ton of time lost. Also, his core is way behind. If he wants to rush out, say a Stargate, he put that probe down very early. It's going to cost him a little bit. And also, could really hurt him when it comes to the early pressure that we may see from Billowy. It is just going to be for that rushed Mothership core, though. So nothing crazy just yet.
Yeah, and a sentry on the way, I believe I saw there.
I think this is just going to be a Stargate. Oh, it's Twilight Council. Okay.
Okay.
So, probably going to be for Blink, because otherwise you probably would have left the probe nearby.
And I did see a Stargate being queued up there by Billowy, so this is immediately going to get very interesting in this game.
Let's just be patient and see, because neither player even knows spawning locations yet.
Yeah.
And we see that, first of all, we see that probe checking for proxies first, and it's not able to find any. And he might also add his own forward pylon. Billowy is doing the same with his mothership.
Dark
but
Shrine.
They don't know spawns, and there it is, the Dark Shrine. Would have expected it to be hidden at the same location, but I guess if you split your tech up, there's less chance of both being scouted, you know?
Yeah, maybe he comes in, he sees that Twilight Council, and he's like, oh, I don't really know what this is. Unfortunately for Zest, we do have a Oracle on the way, so this can actually get into the main base and get a lot of scouting done. But again, if he only makes one, and he does not make a safe robo behind this, he can definitely be punished. But already, as we're seeing on your screen, actually, we do see a robo on the way here for Zest, and I think it's going to be DT drops. Yeah.
You know, it could be DT drops, could just be a safe fall in case his opponent also goes DTs or Blink, because he can get the Immortals out. The sky is the limit, really, when it comes to this type of build. Second Oracle is on the way. It's going to provide some detection. And if he's able to scout the Dark Shrine or even the Twilight Council with this first Oracle, he's going to feel pretty good. He goes down here to check the bottom right. He expects an expand since nothing's come across the map yet. And without seeing an expand, doesn't even check the main, goes straight towards this base. He's going to see the Twilight Council. And let's see how safe he is at home. Oh, already re-rallied as soon as he gets over here. He's already even re-rallied before he even scouts this. But, you know, an Oracle is still not as good as an Observer. That detection is on a timer. It's going to force him to make a second Oracle at home, most likely.
Yep. Nexus comes down here. Very smart. Immediately when he sees that Oracle, he's like, okay, we're probably not going to see too much of a push here. Actually, we're just going to throw down a Nexus. Even though we do see 3 gates back at the base of Billowy, he has not gone for a push. He's just staying back here. He's waiting for that Dark Templar to come in here.
Look at that. Even the Zealot block here. He might not actually be able to kill that, though.
GTs are fast.
They are. One of the fastest ground units in the game, actually. Wouldn't be good otherwise. Well, does escape, actually, but Blink is on the way versus the Immortals back at home. This is why I was saying, you know, that Robo is so good, because if your opponent does a Blink follow-up to try to punish your Nexus, then these are absolutely essential.
Yeah. We finally see that Nexus coming down out of Billowy. Which tells me, you know, he's not confident enough to just go for a straight push. May have even scouted, you know, the Immortals coming out. He's like, no, I can't do this. He's just going to go for the Blink. We even see a counter Blink here from Zest.
I like Zest's position a lot. He invested some in the DTs. Something that forced Oracles to stay at home and not do their damage, which means the Oracles haven't been as useful in this game. He's already got that Robo. He's got a safe Nexus, been mining for longer. And Billowy is trying desperately to get something done with his Oracle. Just now taking the first hit point losses on this, down to 95. 2 kills, nothing more. He can, pretty soon, consider sending his second Oracle for some more harass, but that DT threat, man, keeps it at home. If he had 2 Oracles harassing, it would be much more effective.
Very, very true. Well, Oracle continuing to come back on the base, but Zest very ready for this. I mean, just barely misses that 3rd kill. And just going to be annoying. Can just fly around in the main base if he wants, get some scouting, maybe a revelation a little bit sooner than later. But his Nexus is only coming up now. Something you mentioned before. He is very far behind Zest right now.
Well, just very careful play right now out of Zest, knowing that he's got his opponent on the defensive. He saw how elite the Nexus was. He scouted the Blink. He's already got Immortals out. I really worry for Billowy here. We've seen sometimes players utilize this Stalker force to make a massive Stalker army off 2 base. But that usually only works when your opponent's Robo is a little bit delayed and you can just overwhelm them. But already, Zest has 2 Immortals out. His, you know, Blink is almost on counterwise, so he can use that to help defend early Blink attacks. Gonna just go in here and maybe just try to sack these Oracles meanwhile.
That's what it looks like. Gets a decent number of kills here, and may even get away alive. Gets 6 probe kills, and those Oracles are still out on the map. You were talking about DT threat, but Zest has got something similar back at home with the Oracle threat, and so far it's done a bit more damage than the DTs.
Once you have cannons up at home, and you don't have to worry about those DTs anymore, the second Oracle becomes so much more useful. So now getting a Templar Archive so we can get into those Archons. Would not be surprised to see a Storm drop, considering the positions on this map and the position that Billowy now finds himself in economically. It's a pretty big investment, but it's one of the most likely to do damage harassment options in the game in this matchup. But with all these gates going down, seems less likely. Seems like we might just see a big attack with Archons.
Yeah. Whereas Zest, he is going to go and transition into Colossi right away. Just going to try to play a bit more defensive, whereas we may see Billowy try to go for some big, charge-out Archon attack onto Zest before he gets a huge number of Colossi. Do see finally that first High Templar being made. First couple, actually. He does go into that first Archon.
Yeah. 5 gates. There is a Warp Prism. And probably going to use that to harass, try to draw units into the main base. And let's see how Billowy decides to execute this, because he's making +2, which means this is not an all-in. This is not a timing he wants to hit right now. I think he just wants to come over here, harass the main with Oracles and or that Blink Stalker play, get a third base, and then poke with his army, see if he can kill the third of Zest. If Zest's third is coming up right now, he wants to punish it while he gets his own third back at home. He's already scouted the bay, which means he knows his opponent's army is clunky and can't counterattack as easily. He doesn't have charge on the way, which is something he's definitely going to want to get with this composition. Something he may have forgotten, because that's going to be really important.
Very true. Hallucination Scout coming here out of Zest. He's going to get an idea of what's going on. At the same time, though, a couple of Oracles going to try to just come in here once again and Suicide, get as many kills as possible. They do get 3 this time. A little bit less than last time, but it is some damage.
He's up 10 Harvesters, 53 to 43, and he's going to have that faster third. He wants to ensure that with this army. The Mothership Core is coming with this as well. He doesn't have charge, but guess what? He's only got 2 Zealots in this army. This is a burst army here that's, I guess, planning on just hitting a Nexus before his opponent is ready. Did he cancel Blink? He's got Blink. I'm surprised he's not using it. There he goes. Okay, so
maybe just wanted to hide it as long as possible. I mean, he showed it before against that probe, so not really sure what's going on. We have to see. You see, Zest is actually not.
That Time Warp! He might be able to get that Colossus. It's so
He's
low.
on the chase.
Gets a Stalker. This Archon, though, fairly exposed. But look at the micro here from Billowy. He really just wants to keep Zest on the defensive while back at home he's taking a third. This is such a smart play. And if he can deny that Phoenix, that would be huge. The Phoenix does not get by. He still does not know about that third Nexus. And oh boy, Zest, if he doesn't start to realize what's going on, he could be in for some serious trouble. Because with the third Nexus up, he could add a Fleet Beacon. He already has a Stargate. He can get prepared to deal with those Colossi. Zest is not very easily switching out of right now.
Yeah, and the other part of this that we didn't mention too much, the +2 is now done for Billowy. He's setting up that concave with this comp. We do see Zest trying to snipe that Mothership for 4 health.
4 health left on that Mothership. That's such an important part of this army.
+2 is done. Billowy could go for an attack right now if he wants, but he's just not confident yet.
He just wants to. He doesn't need to. He's not ever really planning on attacking here. He just wants to make Zest think that he is. And Zest's like, well, I'm building the better comp, I'm getting Colossi, but he doesn't know there's a third base back up at home, mining from 6 gases. He's actually getting to the point where he's got enough army off of those 3 bases. He may just attack.
Uh-oh.
He's got a huge economy behind this.
He's got a really big army.
Oh no! Out of position, Zest, out of position. That Mothership Core being dead is so important. With that, he could have Time Warped this, but he's still got a nice flank, and he's got 4 Zealots in that Prism.
Billowy's army is cut in half right now. Already some really nice Colossi shots going down on a lot of those. The Time Warp goes on the top part of this army as well. A second one going onto that one. The Mothership Core being down for Billowy is so huge.
And that position here for Zest is actually now excellent, because he's behind the line of sight blocker. He has Zealots to tank, and those Colossi can do the maximum amount of damage they'd like to. Billowy getting a bit too aggressive here for a moment, and it costs him. Some great Zealots kills there. Oh, there's some great swipes on those Colossi, and now they've got that Siege comp to move forward and poke at these Immortals, do some extra damage.
You were saying before that Billowy didn't need to go for the attack. I feel like maybe he was trying to cut down on the Colossi number, but Zest has stopped at 3. And once again, the engagement there for Zest was just way better. Billowy forcing that fight without the Mothership Core, and Zest able to get 2 Time Warps down while the army was split in half. Really bad engagement there for Billowy.
Look at the money for Billowy. He could have had a Fleet Beacon up right now and just continued to pressure, never committing to the attack. If he had a Time Warp, I feel like that would have been a beautiful choice to attack there. An excellent opportunity with Zest microing into that crevice, into that narrow passage, just defending that flawlessly. Here comes some counterattack, so with some of those extra minerals. See what he can get done with that.
At the same time, though, Zest, he's got a huge army on the front doorstep of Billowy. He's starting to poke at that third Nexus, being very careful about it, though. He's just slowly poking at this. He knows there's no more mining for now, so he can just delay, just wait, get more units here, get more Archons in the mix.
He's going to flank with the Zealots instead, looks like. Coming around the backside. Still so much firepower in these Colossi, and a ton of Zealots to tank, even DTs in the mix now as well. Okay, Archon's trying to come in here. The flank from behind with those Zealots, catching some of those Archons. The Immortals on top of this army. Great Warp Prism micro here by Zest, though. Is the Archon army enough? If he can close the distance, I think it might be. This is such a close fight. He's got so much DPS in these Archons. Starting to hit on those Colossi directly, and here come reinforcing Zealots.
The micro from those Colossi jumping in and out of the Warp Prism was just the thing that won this fight. He was able to keep them alive for so much longer.
That was insane what we just saw there. That micro, like you said, it saved him here. What a game. What a turnaround here. And that should probably seal the deal. He's got no answer for the Colossi anymore. Doesn't have any morals, doesn't have enough Archons. He's not even mining from his natural. And Billowy taking a great position, but getting a bit overzealous. Will fall here. Zest just moving in and seal the deal.
More micro, even though he's got this one in the bag. Billowy trying to hold on. GG is called. He is crushed from that loss, but Zest in the end, he is able to win.
What a season this is shaping up to be. Feels like every game is a masterpiece I'm watching, and the decisions we've seen these two players make in stressful situations, sometimes not the best, but it just makes for such a tense and awesome game. Had he gotten a fleet beacon up, had he just continued to defend, I think he would have been in a better position, but he saw an opening, but he lost his mothership. It was at 4 health, and if he had a time warp on that army, stopping it from getting in, he gets a surround because he had that arc with all those charged Zealots and those Archons. That would have been nasty, man.
I want to bring it back like Zest. He's known to be like one of the best guys at actually controlling. You see him hold off like so many lazy boy pushes out of Terrans just with like amazing force fields and amazing control with his army. I feel like that's what we saw there. The blink, able to snipe out that mothership core and just delaying it for long enough. Whereas Billowy was like on the knife's edge. He's like, do I attack? Do I not attack? And eventually he went for like not the greatest attack. It was like the perfect spot there for, a huge time warp on Zest's army, but he didn't have a mothership core. Zest had all those Colossi, and once he was able to get the 2 time warps with his own mothership core, the Colossi were just doing way too much damage.
It bought him.
Zest's position there was too good.
Yeah, it bought him enough time to get into that position where he had the Zealots at the front, and the Colossi at the back were completely protected. The idea there for Billowy's attack is to surround with Archons and charge Zealots. He even had the Warp Prism to try to Bulldog on top of the Colossi, but the Time Warp slowed him down too much. He wasn't even able to get his Zealots on top of the Colossi. They just fell into the sea of Zest Zealots and died. And then he was into that crevice where he just